Yeah, I wanted to pick up on Paul's idea of wisdom and partly link it to Carl's idea of measuring, because I think that's probably actually the more important thing that might be going on here. And if you look at the way that wisdom is constructed at the minute, it's very, sociologists would say it's socially constructed. Sorters is kind of at the top of the tree for a whole variety of reasons, one of which is their PPE, their size, their reputation and so on. It's very charismatic, it's very resident in individual partners. And you want to get away from that car, you want to get it to be more of an organisational function. And the question, I suppose, is how? Because we've got this process, which is very much a process-driven, competition-based model. Let's make things cheaper, more efficient, let's improve the information flows. And my question is, what happens next? How do you develop wisdom in the organisation, which is in the organisation? What will that look like in terms of your systems and approaches and the kind of people in that organisation? Because get that right, I think you have a genuine chance of innovating. Otherwise, we just do things cheaper and quicker and a bit better.
Well, it also plays into the pyramid question, doesn't it? Because if you're not filling the bottom of the pyramid, how are those people going to get the experience and then develop the wisdom that will allow them to become the wisdom providers of the late 21st century? Any thoughts about that, Carl?
From my point of view, Richard, I think it's a stellar question. The sense I have is that this comes out of genuinely deep understanding of the client's interests. So it's less about your technical knowledge, which is a given. It's less about whether you've got great process, which will become a given. It's less about management information, which will also become a given. It's whether you align yourself to the interests of the client so empathetically, so naturally, so strategically, that you can see almost with the forensic relevance the issue that needs to be addressed and then address it. And those are skills beyond whatever anybody gets out of the law degree or out of the College of Law. That's something which is really, really clever. Some people will come to it intuitively, but I think it's possible to train it as well, or at least it's possible to encourage people to look at those as a skill set that they need to develop. The people who have it today, they're often called rainmakers, I think, and there's a sort of sense in which it's almost a sort of black magic. I don't think that's the case. I think it's very much a product of really good business discipline, of understanding your brand, of understanding the customer's brand, and working in that very tight and empathetic way.
And I think it goes down to the way you organise yourself. So just give it to that at a very practical level. And again, client confidentiality, so I can't say who the client is. But in Riverview, we won our first FTSE 100 company within 2 months of starting, which was a real pleasure. And if you look at actually why we've done it and how long it's gone since, it's because we have on that account a dedicated team. They only work for that account. They understand the culture, the style, the ethos, the appetite for commercial risk within that client. Yes, we've got great technology, but quite frankly, take that as read as a client because it works. Yes, we've got great people because obviously they do their job properly, but again, the clients take that for granted because we should have great people. It's about the way in which we use the information that flows from the activity we're actually doing for them every day of the week, and how we take that back to be business critical. So for example, the ability to go back into the business and say, actually, you need to focus on what your telesales teams are saying over here, because that's what's causing the issue over there. You need to look at actually these terms and conditions on those products you've just launched, because that's what's causing the problem here. You need to focus on actually what's happening in that division, because that's where a lot of the employment tribunal issues are coming from, because actually this looks like the behaviour that's taking place. So I think what's interesting is it's the way in which you become a seamless part of the customer, an absolute seamless part. The technology makes it seamless. The management information is actually what drives the difference in terms of the culture, style, ethos, and the dedication of accounts. And interesting, it's playing horses for courses. So on the way we operate, we have a client director and a legal director on every account. The client director deals with everything that's non-legal, because actually there's a reality. If you actually start having lawyers trying to interpret management information, trend analysis, data, what does it mean for the business, how does that impact on actually, it's never going to happen. So you focus people on what they're good at doing, and you make sure they operate seamlessly as a team. And actually, the reason we know that works is because that's what we've done for the last 11 years in our other business, which has many FTSE 100 companies as customers, and they all renew for longer term contracts. So the irony in our model is that actually it's an 8-month startup, if you like, that's 11 years old. Because we understand the culture and the way in which you do it. You embed yourself by delivering phenomenal service. But people take technology for granted very quickly because they work. It's about how you use the MI and the data and the information, the trend analysis, and understand their commercial appetite, and how you reduce their costs going forward. So actually we are talking about reducing their costs going forward. That's part of our narrative, and that's really important.
Very good.